And then, of course, what did we have next, Anthony?
That took us into please hope to God this feud is going to be over after this match. Happy Corbin with Madcap Moss versus, and I'm going to reiterate this a couple of times, the former two-time WWE Champion Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, well, a couple of things here. And if you don't mind, because I always jump in, because you know I can't.
Yeah, go for it.
Madcap Moss, just because it was on the night before on the SmackDown mic.
Yeah.
You know how they normally have the Andre the Giant Battle Royal? They had it on the SmackDown the night before, before the Hall of Fame. Now, he won that, Madcap Moss. Now, I watched it and I thought to myself, again, and it's easy to sit here and criticise rather than say, well, hey, look, they did it, they did this, they did that. And they did, and we know what it's like putting on shows and stuff. But that had to be, without doubt, the worst field of contestants in an Andre the Giant Battle Royal. They were all virtually the nobodies. And then you get Madcap Moss winning it. And if it's supposed to be an honour to or remembrance of Andre, I don't think they achieved the mark this year. And the previous years it's been great, but this year I thought was an absolutely Z-grade field. Absolutely woeful.
Would you say, Pete, right, that with that huge card they did 2 nights in a row, right, that they showed that their reserves are pretty thin?
Oh, well, look how many people have been let go in the last year or so.
I mean, if you looked at, let's say, Samoa Joe, Bryan Danielson, what's his name, Moxley, or if they were still part of it, some of the guys that went to, that have just moved
Buddy
across.
Murphy,
Buddy Murphy, that you've already got, 4 strong contenders in there with Madcap. And I'm starting to look at maybe they're. And you could look at NXT too.
Well, see, there was
the reserves are thin. Yeah, the reserves are a bit thin at the moment. They also stretch their roster out to the full length over 2 days with, what did we have? Was it, 14 matches total?
I didn't count them all up, but probably something along those lines.
Yeah. So, it just shows that maybe their reserves are a bit thin. I didn't mind Madcap Moss winning it.
It was basically all those clowns who run around on the 24/7 thing.
Yeah. I don't mind Madcap winning it if they're going to push him properly. If they're using this as a step up for him, right? Because I think, if anything, probably out of Madcap and Happy Corbin, Madcap has more upside.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I don't know how this guy survived so long. I don't know. I know Vince has a thing about big guys. He's a big dude, but no talent.
No.
Yeah, he's lacks coordination. Nothing is believable that he does, right?
Yeah.
The only thing I do like that he does is when they throw him to the corner and he slides out, goes around. I do like that's one particular thing I do like that he does, right? But for me, there's no upside to this guy as far as physical on the mic. He's not even good on the mic. Madcap, I think, looks like a great athlete. It's a fresh face. Separate him.
Horrible gimmick at the moment.
Terrible. You'd have to really say, listen, mate, take a holiday for 6 months and come back as a real person. With Madcap. Just to wipe the stink off him. But I think there's more upside in Madcap. So if they put him over for that reason, I can see that in the Rumble.
See, for me, you've got, people who didn't get onto the Royal Rumble or that Andre the Giant Battle Royal or on WrestleMania, but people like Finn Balor, how do you keep him out?
Well, that's a good point too.
Former world champion looks.
They were working on the NXT card.
But you know what?
Have they separated them completely with the? But I'm asking. I'm not sure 100%. Are they 100% separated between them now? They are NXT, and Because I think the best thing that's ever happened to those two guys, I'll be honest with you, to Rude and to Ziggler, is leaving the current WWE product and going to NXT. You know, they can actually showcase the stars and get a name and get a good rub. You know, I don't think I feel sorry for Tommaso Ciampa for having to go up to the main roster.
You could have had him in the Battle Royal.
That's right.
But when you say the reserves are thin, there was still a lot of people that could have gone on.
This is true.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, they didn't. But I got to be honest, I wasn't overly looking forward to this match because I was over it before it started.
For me, I think that McIntyre is mostly now is the most underutilized guy they've got. You know, the guy, except for not being a great talker, you know, if you stuck that guy with a really good manager that could talk, somebody that could talk a whole heap of shit, you know, we'll say like somebody in the Jimmy Hart or a Jim Cornette or a Bobby Heenan mold, you know, somebody that was a good talker. You know, if I have left anyone out, I do apologize. Maybe the Grand Wizard or someone like that. But, you know, a great talker, right? They could talk their guy up and turned him heel, right? Turned him as his ass kicker from Scotland and heel, Scotland. You have got a weapon that will draw. You know, and I don't understand, if I'm smart enough to see it, why ain't they seeing it at WWE? I mean, I just don't say, how are you going to give him Madcap Corbin? And they put him over on Madcap, but in the second match in WrestleMania, that leads to nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. I don't get it how they use McIntyre. I sometimes wonder, you know, he must have kicked Vince's dog or something. Something's happened for them to treat him, because this is a guy that held that company while they were in the middle of COVID.
Well, there was a story that was making the rounds that McIntyre may not have even wrestled that match because Vince was going to suspend him. They were at a function a couple of nights earlier, and Vince allegedly said something to Drew McIntyre, and McIntyre gave him a big shove. And there was talk that he was suspended. Now, maybe because it was all organised for WrestleMania, they let that go. Be interesting to see if he appears over the next couple of weeks.
Tony, open up your checkbook, mate, and get a nice big check for him, because he is worth every dollar.
Well, he looks the part. Like, he's extremely agile. He's big. He's strong. He can work. But I don't know. But he is very much a bit like he's a bit like John Cena in that he's just sort of got that one match, you know, that one style all the time.
Yeah, but that one style, he can utilize that style even against a small light guy. I think against anyone.
He's seeing the same thing all the time.
Ric Flair,
yeah.
Bret Hart. You know, you go on.
Yeah,
Kurt Hennig. You know, they all had one real match in them, and then they would change that interchangeable pieces. But it was basically the same match. I think he's got the look, he's got the size, he's got the agility. He's probably primed as best as he'll ever be now with his age. You know, his age is probably perfect age at the moment for knowledge. But how they don't see it, when it's pretty thin at the top end of the roster at the pointy end. It's pretty thin.
They're saying that he, you know, I was reading some stuff today where they reckon he's now, you know, the next one in line for Roman Reigns now.
Well, you know,
whether he is or he's not, I don't know. But
job him out to Roman.
Well, the one thing I did like from him when he did that huge swanton over the top rope, for a guy that size to do that, that's pretty impressive.
Just the kip up alone.
The kip up beautifully, no hands, nothing.
You know, so for me, I mean, it's a no-brainer. I'd be getting rid of Corbin. Corbin would be offering him up to AEW, take him and keeping him, and Madcap's got a lot of upsides. What do you reckon, Anthony? What do you think, mate?
All right. So when I saw this announced, I went, why? And that's for the sole purpose of that time last year. Where was Corbin on the card, and where was Drew on the card?
But a year's a long time in this business.
Yeah, wrestling, it's a long time. But you got a point, mate. Keep going.
That time last year, McIntyre opened with Lashley for the WWE title. Where was Corbin?
I can't remember, to be honest with you.
Exactly. That's the point I'm trying to make. Therefore,
was he on the card?
That's what I'm saying. He wasn't on the card.
Oh, he wasn't on the card. There you go.
So, how can... Now, this dates back all the way to the first pay-per-view of the year. But I want to know, why did we have to sit through this feud of nothing and have it on one of your biggest pay-per-views of the year?
It's called a Bay Marie match. And I'll explain to you why Bay Marie. It's to keep freaking one of the two, which is obviously McIntyre, warm. Keeping him in front of a crowd with the nobody, gets over on a nobody. The match is interesting? No. Other match is great? No. But he's out there. He's being thrown out there. He's being seen. He's getting wins. He's, triumphing over odds. That's what they do it for, right? It's not really. They call it a keep warm match, but I call it a Bay Marie, right? It's a Bay Marie match, right? A Bay Marie series of matches. Would I have used Corbin? I don't know if I'd use Corbin. I don't know, right? That's just me. I don't really see the upside, but the short series he had with Madcap wasn't too bad. I thought. You're 100% right about where he was at WrestleMania. That still blows me away that he was opening for the WWE title. That does blow me away. I agree with you 100%. What did you reckon the match? What did you rate that one, Anthony?
I was generous. I gave it a 5.
You gave it a 5? Okay. Well, I was the same as you. 5. I gave it a halfer. What do you reckon?
Yeah, 5. I had 5. Well, let me just ask you a very quick question. At the end, Mick, when Drew McIntyre used the sword and chopped the top 2 ropes.
Yeah.
Now, those ropes are, as we know,
Yeah.
Would one sword do that?
Yeah.
2 ropes like that?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. A samurai sword, if you wrap 4 or 5 of them in a row and then had 2 or 3 of them, they'll cut through them all of them.
Jeez, okay.
That blade is actually not really very sharp, really. It's not. It's a bit on the dull blade compared to some of them. If you watch Forged in Fire, that knife series, have you ever had a chance to watch that where they make swords? And that's amazing what they can cut through.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a waste of 2 ropes.
I think it was a demonstration that this is sharp, that I'm not just walking out with a toy, but I still don't get the sword.
Well,
I don't get the Claymore sword. I don't get it.
No, the sword is named after his mother, and it's been handed down through his family and his generation.
Is this American sword fighting, or is this pro wrestling?
No, but it's as part of his Scottish heritage and all that.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Pulls out the sword, starts whopping it around, this and that. You can't cut anyone up with it.
They were the days.
They were the days. Had the kilt on with nothing underneath and flashed it before you attacked everyone, in the Highlands. Yeah. This is one sword and the other sword. Here we go. No, but
reduced to a pocket knife now, but anyway.
It's age. But yeah, I don't. But I do like. I see a lot of upside with Drew McIntyre. I do. I do see a lot of upside with him. Once again, we're probably getting a little bit off the track, but I think the way they're using him pretty much as a feeder for their top guys, and I think he could be a top guy.